Hello, hello, hello! Hello everybody, it is Lalaine and today it is time for my July wrap up. I read 5 books this month, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel then please feel free to do so, and don't forget to give this video a like, that will really help me. And the first book is Shame is an Ocean I Swim Across by Mary Lambert, and this is like a poetry book and she read it herself. I was listening to it and it was phenomenal. It was so beautiful. In this book she basically shares rape, assault, sexual assault, heartbreak, love. She shares so many things. She's super vulnerable, and the way that she put it that on paper is a really big inspiration for me, because I always wanted to write like that. And when I listened to it, there were a few times when I cried just because it was so beautiful. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because there were also moments where she sang, so I think the audiobook really helped when it came to giving it more energy and making it come more alive. But whew, some of the poems really blew my mind, and I know that she's a singer besides writing this book. But yeah, you should really check it out if you're into poetry, because whew, that was really beautiful. Oh my god. Then I listened to City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I read some of her books, and I saw the movie Eat, Pray and Love. And when I saw that she had a new book, I was like, I'm intrigued. And I kind of read the synopsis, but not really. Then I just put the book in my saving and I was just like, I'm gonna listen to it. And I really enjoyed it. It is a story about this young woman who's going to New York, and it's right before World War II. And she goes to her aunt who is running this theater, and the theater is not that great, but they make shows so that people can just, you know, unwind, not think about the war, and just enjoy themselves. And she is really good at sewing, so she is making all the costumes for the plays. I was laughing along, I was just smiling along. I cried when I listened to this book, because this could have been a true story. That's how amazing and fantastic it felt listening to it. It sounded almost like Evelyn Hugo, but I don't want to just compare it to that book, because that book was phenomenal. That book was amazing, mind-blowing. I just absolutely loved it, but it was kind of in that style. She's writing to her, well, she's not really something to her, but she's writing to this girl who asked her, how do you know my father? And from there the whole story is starting, and it is just amazing. So if you're into burlesque, if you love hearing about women who were really different for the time that they were living in, like boundary breaking, and this is a book for you, because that's what I experienced from this book. I was there like, this is so bold, this is so open, this is so what I needed in this moment. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because it was not the best that I've listened to, but it was really good, and that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. But if you're into any of these stories, then please pick it up, especially as an audiobook. It is just a really nice thing to listen to. Then I listened to Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Never read or listened to a book by him, but whoa, this was so exciting. I kid you not, 5 out of 5 stars. It's about a young girl who has nothing. Her parents died and she is going... Nobody asked you. Siri is so annoying. She is looking for a new job, and then she finds this offer for an apartment sitter, and she's like, I can use those coins. So she's going to sit an apartment, but it is in this Bartholomew, if I say that correct, and it's this fancy apartment building where rich people and old celebrities are living. And I saw that this was blowing up on Instagram, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the book. But I was really hooked when I started listening to this. So yeah, I had a lot of audiobooks this month, but I don't mind, because in this as well, the narrator was so good that I just got sucked into the story, and I was just like, oh my god, what is going to happen, what is going to happen? And I love that when a story does that. So yeah, if you're into thriller stories, if you like exciting things and a good suspense, and the pace was also really good, then yeah, you should definitely pick this up. This is one of my faves so far, just because I really enjoyed the story from beginning until end. Okay, that's all that I can say about it. It's just, there were moments in this book where I was like, I got you, I know what's going to happen at the end, and then the ending was like nope, you did not. You did not just guess what this ending was going to be, because this is the ending. And I love that when a book does that, because I'm always trying to guess with a thriller what is going to happen. But with this one, I was wrong. I was wrong, and I was glad I was wrong. So yeah, go pick it up. Then I read CJSQ's her book Rockaholic, and I think this is a young adult book about a girl who kidnaps this guy who is worldly famous, and he ends up in her garage. And I love the books from CJSQ's that I read before, so it's like I'm really excited for this one. But there were some parts in it where it was so slow that I was like, can we get to it? Because to me, the main character really seemed childish to me, and just so sucked in her own world, like, oh my god, just it felt like she was really sorry for herself constantly, instead of trying to make it better or her life better. And that got to me because I found it really annoying at times, but I got through it. I read from the beginning to the end, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because it was enjoyable but not amazingly, and maybe because the weather was really good. But other than that, not my cup of tea. I will never read this again. I will never pick it up. Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment compared to the other books that I read by her, because those were so funny, and there were moments that were funny, but there was a lot of barf here and there, and I'm not a big fan of barf, so And the last book that I listened to, I only read one physical book this month. This is weird, but yeah, I really enjoyed myself listening to audiobooks this month. The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars because I absolutely enjoyed it, but it wasn't not the best book that I've read. So I think this is like a romance book, and it is so funny. I cracked up multiple times. And you know when you're just like, you know when you let that laugh out, it's going to be so hard. Oh my god, I had to squeeze my hands, and I had to, you know, pinch my leg, because I was like, oh my god, it's so silent in the train. If I let this out, everybody's going to think I'm going mad. But that's how funny it was. It was so well done. And normally when there's like this hate-love thing going on, it is just for a few pages and then it's gone, and then all of a sudden they are in love. But this was really well done when it comes to the hate towards each other. Well, hate, but they were like making jokes towards each other, and I love it when someone is super witty. So this story is basically about two people who go to a wedding. Our main character, her sister is getting married. It is her twin sister, and she's getting married to the douchebag, his brother. So everybody is getting food poisoning. So I don't know what it was with this one, but there was a lot of barf in my books, and I hate barf, but it didn't take away from the story, so I still gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. But her sister won a trip. This trip is not refundable, so people have to go. So the other guy, who is a douchebag, and our main character, yeah, I forgot her name, but they are going on the trip. So they hate each other, and then something really beautiful is growing. And of course there's drama, but it was good drama, and it was not too much. Like sometimes it's so much that you're like, this is so unbelievable, or they try to give it a super happy ending, and I don't think that was the case with this one. So I get the hype because I really enjoyed it. If you just want to relax, laugh out loud, and just have a really good time, then you should definitely pick this one up, because I really enjoyed this one. It was really fun. The narrator was amazing, so I enjoyed myself. And the last book that I listened to was Girls with Sharp Sticks by Susan Young, and I read her program back in the day, so I was like, hey Susan Young, nice to meet you again, let me listen to this book. And I heard a few people on BookTube talk about this book. They were very excited, but the audiobook, the narrator was just constantly like, oh my god, she was talking like that, so it sounded almost like she was afraid / like she was having sex. It was super annoying, and she did that throughout the whole book, and I couldn't stand it. But I was like, I want to know the story, I'm gonna sit through this. But she was just constantly like, oh my god. Like, I get it if something is getting very excited that you're gonna use that in your voice, but if you're just telling about the environment or what is happening or people observing, then please don't do that. So that to me was very annoying, like very. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, because it was such an original story. And I miss that because like sometimes it feels like all the stories are already used, so how to come up with a new concept and make it enjoyable for your readers and not like, I've read this already. You don't want that. So I love where Susan Young is going with her books and her stories, because she has a really original mind and she has no boundaries, and that's something that I absolutely love. I forgot everybody's name, but our main character is a part of this program and she's living in a school with only girls, and they are nice, decent girls, and they always need to behave. And the moment one is like falling out of character or is doing something that is not qualified as being decent, they have to go and follow a program and they're being reprogrammed. But nobody really knows what happens while they're in the reprogramming. I think that's all that I can say without spoiling anything, because I'm really scared that I would spoil anything. One thing that really stood out to me is that these girls are suppressed, and they are suppressed with a reason. Those stories always make me angry because I think everybody should be themselves and be allowed to be themselves without being suppressed. You just have to read the summary and pick it up because it's enjoyable, but I would not suggest to listen to it on script, because unless you absolutely love it when someone is like in your ear, then yeah, go pick it up, then feel free to do so. So yeah, for me, 3 out of 5 star. Didn't really love it, but the story itself was great. Oh, I read a total of 6 books this month. Anyways, these were the books that I read in July. Let me know what you read in July, and yes, oh, I can't. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next. Bye!